All right, what's up, Facebook and YouTube? All right, so we're talking how to up your Facebook game to help your business on social media. And you're here because Facebook, one, probably stresses you out. And I'm here to say, me too. Facebook stresses me out on the daily. However, when we utilize Facebook for our business, if we can kind of set that like stress mentality aside and know that everything we do on Facebook is to benefit our business and put money in our pocket, then it makes it a little easier. So if you are like me and it stresses you out, I'm with you. We're gonna get through it together, and hopefully, I will be able to impart some fun knowledge and facts about Facebook and some of the changes that have taken place over the last year or two. We all know that there's this crazy Facebook algorithm that is a giant, scary like math equation. How do we operate around that? And is there a way to beat the algorithm? Is there a way to trick the algorithm? Not really, but there are ways that we can play with the algorithm so that it plays nicely with us. So, that being said, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys. We will get it going here. If you guys will do me a favor and drop your name in the comments, let us know what business you're in, and I'm going to go ahead and give you a full screen here. All right. So, Erica's ready to learn the things. Thanks, Erica. All right. So, how to up your Facebook game for your business. Real quick, like I already talked about, we are going to talk about content, like what content works well on social media, what content doesn't work well on social media, and then your brand. Of course, we're going to talk about the algorithm. Who doesn't love talking about it? And I am going to go over some of the 2021 changes. So, Facebook's changed a lot just over the last couple of months. So, I'm trying to make sure that I stay on top of those things so I can pass that information on to you. Also, going to go over like the things that work on Facebook and the things that don't work. So if you're doing the things that don't work, stop doing them. And then I am going to give you guys some tools to help you through this process as well. So let's just jump right on into it. First thing, we talk about brand a lot. Brand's kind of like one of these like keywords that we like to throw around, like, oh, that's not really like a part of my brand. We have to ask ourselves these questions, especially when it comes to posting on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or Twitter or wherever we're posting. But we have to ask ourselves, like, is this the voice of my brand? And probably before we even ask ourselves that, we have to ask ourselves, do I know what the voice of my business is? So your brand is that business voice, that personality behind your business. And maybe that's you. Maybe you are your business's brand. But I know that sometimes you like to separate these two things out. You may have a brand that is very like professional and buttoned up and just really like clean. But you as a person might be, maybe you cuss a little bit, or maybe you are not super professional all the time. Like those two things don't have to be mutually exclusive. Like you don't have to be your brand. You can be your brand, but we need to make sure that we separate these two things out. And the way we do that is by creating a business page on Facebook. So if you haven't done that, this is a way to separate your personal account from your business account. And that's just to keep your personal life personal, your business life business. And there's a very little crossover when it comes to that. So really asking yourself, what is the voice of my business? Is it, clean and professional? Is it fun and laid back? Is it really jokey and sarcastic? Like what really, what voice are your customers looking for? What kind of customers do you currently have? And Why are they following you? And these are like super like existential questions, and that's okay. You know, we want to ask ourselves the hard questions, because the more we understand about our business and our voice and our personality, the more we're going to understand about how to connect with our customer online. Another, good question to ask yourself as it pertains to brand is, are your customers even on this platform? Now, we are talking specifically about Facebook. We know that Facebook has started to trend older. Hope I'm not offending anybody. I'm on Facebook. It's my primary social media account. But we know that because Facebook is trending older, it's going to continue to trend older unless there's some huge shift in like the demographic or the target audience there. I'm not a fortune teller, but I don't see that happening. That's why Facebook bought out Instagram. It's why Facebook now owns Instagram, because Instagram is hitting that younger demographic. So ask yourself, I'm putting a lot of time and effort into Facebook, but are my customers here? Because if they're not there, maybe we don't need to spend that much time, catering to a social media platform that you're not actually getting any business from. And then ask yourself, every single time you post something, whether it's a picture or text or a video, anything, ask yourself, is this post getting me one step closer to my goal? And am I being true to my mission? If the answer is no, then we don't need to post it. There are a lot of pieces of content out there that seem like, we call it like fluff content, or content that doesn't really get you any further to your goal. But if you're staying true to your mission, and if you're serving your customers, then that content still pertains to them, and it's still going to be really, really important that you have that fluff content, as long as you're packing it around really valuable content, like the educational stuff, the entertaining stuff. So ask yourself these 4 questions right before you get ready to post anything. Is this post the voice of my business? Do I know the voice of my business? And are my customers going to be looking at this content? And if they are going to be looking at the content, am I being true to my mission by posting this online? So that's going to maybe knock out a bunch of content that you would be posting, but now maybe you're not going to. Now, if you've got content that you're like, okay, well, this isn't really the voice of my business, I'm not super being true to the mission, but I still want to post it, great, post it on your personal page. You don't need to post it on your business page. So there's room for everything on Facebook. Erica, how important is it to post every day? Loaded question. It is important to post consistently. So every day, I would suggest most of you post once a day. It's a good mark to hit. Keeps you consistent. It keeps the algorithms thinking about you. However, if once a day is going to overwhelm you and burn you out and make you hate Facebook even more than you probably already do, then I just need you to be consistently posting. Maybe not once a day, but maybe 3 times a week. 3 times a week is a good mark to hit if you don't want to get burned out. So if you want to post on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, do that. Because you can always add to that, right? If you post a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule, that doesn't mean you can't post Tuesdays and Thursdays and the weekends, right? You can always add to your content. So it's less about posting every single day, and it's more about being consistent with your posting. So that is a really roundabout answer to say important, but consistency is more important. Another thing about social media is that it's not about you. You're welcome, Erica. Social media is not about you. Facebook's not about you. It's about your customer, right? The reason you've built out a Facebook business page is to serve your customer, right? Is to provide your customer with information about your business, is to provide your customer with some sort of value, whether that be in the form of entertainment or education. But you've built this thing for someone else. It's a form of customer service, right? So always remember that when you're getting ready to post something, that this page isn't a vanity project. It's not like you need to be posting selfies all the time and like this humble bragging or whatever. Like sometimes people don't care what you have to post, and you need them to care. You it's crucial that they care about what you post. So just remember that when you're getting ready to post something, it's another question to ask yourself, like, is this something that my customers need and want, or is this something that I want them to want? Those are two different things. But content should always be created with the customer in mind. And a good way to think about that is this 80-20 rule. And the 80-20 rule is 80% of the posts that go out of your account should be for your customers, should be about building community and triggering conversation and having dialogue with other people. And it should entertain or educate or inform in some way. It should be, it should build something, right? It should build upon the foundation of the page that you created however many years ago. And 20% of the time you get to post sales stuff. You get to post about your website or a new product or service that you're offering, or a discount that you're offering for the next month or so. 20% of the time you get to talk about you. 20% of the time you get to talk about your business. You get to sell 20% of the time. But imagine if these were flopped, right? We follow lots of pages on Facebook. I would imagine if you jumped on your Facebook page, you'd probably see lots of people selling you something. And that's a problem, right? If you're constantly being sold to, it wears on your nerves a little bit. It wears on your emotions. We're constantly being bombarded with ads, and it will get to people enough that they will unfollow you if you hit them too many times with the sales content. So an 80-20 rule keeps you safe, right? It keeps you safe from the unfollows. Give people content that they're looking for. Give them value. Teach them something that they don't already know. There's so much stuff at your disposal. There's so much content at your disposal, and you probably aren't even aware of it. You're like, well, I don't even know what to post on social media. Don't worry, we will cover some of that. But you have an expertise in something that no one else has an expertise about, and especially not your customers. So really let them know what it is you're doing, why you're passionate about it, and why they should be passionate about it too, without trying to sell to them. If you get them with the value proposition, they don't need to be sold to. They're already sold just because you have been you and you've got this personality and you have provided them value for free already just by them following your Facebook page. So something to keep in mind. It's almost old news at this point. I think most people are aware of the Facebook algorithm, but a couple of years ago, Facebook kind of altered their rules of who gets seen and how do we determine what shows up on people's news feeds. And a term that they used was these meaningful interactions. And it's a nice vague term that basically boils down to clicks, likes, comments, and shares. And when we think about clicks, likes, comments, and shares, there's a hierarchy there, right? We know that clicks are fine. I would imagine that there's lots of people who have seen that Square One has a live video happening right now. Now, what happens when they're on their phone is they're scrolling, they see the live video happening. And if I'm providing them good enough content, right, what are they going to do? They're going to click on the video. And what happens when they click on the video is all of a sudden they start hearing, the audio turns on, right? Great. We want them to hear it because, it's a video. I'm providing good information. I want people to hear it. So clicks are great. Likes are even better, right? Because it's almost a step up. It's like, I have seen this content and it's filled me with the desire to let everybody know that I approve, right? Like, it's kind of a big deal. It seems kind of silly when we talk about Facebook because a lot of people just go through and like a bunch of stuff, but it actually helps. So if you are not a business owner and you're watching this video just for fun, keep liking your friends' Facebook page content. It really does help the algorithm. And if you do have a Facebook page, a business page on Facebook, then, ask your friends and family, just say like, hey, every time I post, if you wouldn't mind just liking, commenting, it would really help me out. Sometimes all we have to do is ask. And our friends and family are always, really, really excited to help us out with that. Erica, how long should I make my live videos? Live videos are tricky. See, live videos are meant for long form. So we want to make sure that when we are doing a live video, you have to be live for at least 10 minutes. Like 10 minutes is kind of like the the golden standard of live video. You can go for really as long as you want, as long as your customers are engaged. If I were to look at some of the statistics on this particular video right now, I can see that I've got 8 viewers. If I'm honest with myself, 4 of them are probably staff, and that's okay. But we can see as this video goes on, we can see the peaks and the valleys of like, oh, at one point you had 10 viewers and a couple dropped off and then a few more jumped on. So the longer your live video goes, you know that people are going to fall off, but it gives more people opportunity to jump on as well. And as long as they know that you're going live, they can always go back and watch it later. So longer the better on live videos, but at least 10 minutes on a live video. If it's going to be any shorter than 10 minutes, then you just want to do what I would call a regular video by pre-recording and then uploading natively to Facebook. So likes are great. Comments are even better, right? Because a like is like, okay, well, I clicked on a thing and I let people know that I liked it. But a comment is like, this content has moved me so much that I have something to say about it. And social media is called that for a reason. We're meant to be social, right, on the platform. And the way that we're social is that we have conversation with each other. We engage in dialogue with each other. And so commenting on a post or getting a comment on a post is like, boom, Facebook is paying attention. That you've posted a piece of content that somebody was so moved by that they had to say something about it. And it gives you like a little asterisk basically. And every single time somebody comments on your post, it gets a little like bump up everyone's newsfeed. And the more comments, the better. Now, a fun fact about commenting is that, there's no way for Facebook really to determine how many comments on a video come from the poster versus other people. So Erica has commented on this particular live video 4 times, but I could then go back on there and respond to each one of her questions, and that would double the amount of comments, right? So Facebook is like, oh my gosh, there's 8 comments on this video, show to more people. And that's how you get more views on your content. That's how you get better engagement. So comments are great. And then of course, we want everybody to share our content. We want everybody to not only feel like this was good content, so I'm going to like it. This was great content. I have something to say about it, so I'm going to comment. But then they're like, this content is so useful, so entertaining, so funny, so educational, so insane, so crazy, so whatever, that I have to share it with my friends and family that follow me on Facebook. And that's how you gain new clients. That's like building your pipeline. That's looking for leads. That's opening up a can of worms, honestly. You're after shares. So then the question becomes, well, how do we create shareable content? And in order to get there, we have to ask ourselves, okay, well, why do people share content? This is one of my favorite slides because we all know different types of people online who share random things at random points in time. But we can ask ourselves, why do people share content? Well, the most basic reason people share content is to be social with their friends and family that they follow and who follow them. But when we kind of boil it down a little bit, sometimes it's about how they're feeling. They're trying to express like how they feel about a particular topic, and whether that be something political or religious, or even something as simple as, did you know the Pantone color of the year is, I'm literally making this up. Okay, I'm going to back up because I know that millennial pink was like a color of the year like 2 years ago. So we're going to go with that. So let's say somebody ran an article. Sherwin-Williams Paint runs an article that says the color of the year is millennial pink. Well, there's going to be a lot of people that have something to say about that, right? They're going to express how they're feeling about the color of the year being millennial pink. And some's going to be positive, some's going to be negative. But that's why they share content, because they want their feelings to be heard. This is one of my favorite ones, to show off. People show off, or they humble brag. Humble brag is, you guys know, it's like when people brag, but they're being like super like coy about it. A good example of this is when there's maybe like memories. We know that memories pop up on Facebook, right? of a vacation that someone took 3 years ago. What do? They share that content, and they're like, oh, I remember when I was drinking mimosas on the beaches of the Dominican, and they're not sharing it to like for any reason except to be like, hey guys, remember I went on this really awesome vacation and you didn't, right? Like it's humble bragging. So we really have to boil down the reason why our customers share our specific content. So whatever that may be, they're probably not sharing your stuff to show off or to humble brag, but they probably are sharing it to be social with other people. They maybe will share it because they find something really educational and they want to share that with their friends and family. Maybe they think it's funny. Maybe they've just found it, really interesting or useful in some way. So we have to ask ourselves, am I creating and sharing shareable content? If nobody's sharing your content, then we need to reevaluate, like, what about this piece of content, whether it be a picture, video, whatever, that nobody really wants to share with other people. So then we have to reassess and reevaluate and then kind of start over from the drawing board and figure out what's going to get more people's engagement. So some algorithm changes in 2021. This is not going to make much sense, and it's maybe going to sound a little scary. It's fine. Facebook is becoming more of a publisher than a platform. Now we're always going to call it a social media platform because that's essentially what it is. But because of the algorithm, the difference between a publisher and a platform like Twitter is a platform. Reddit is a platform. LinkedIn is a platform, because whenever I follow someone on any of those platforms, if they post something, I'm going to see it at some point. If I keep scrolling, I will see it when I run out of content or whatever. I will see that content that they posted. But on Facebook, it's harder to see content because Facebook's algorithm is really working to try to give you the content they think you want to see. And they do that by, paying attention to what you've engaged with in the past. So if you've got friends and family that you like and you comment and you share their stuff frequently, of course, that's the stuff that you're going to see most often. But there's probably people that you're friends with on Facebook, or there's probably pages that you follow on Facebook that you haven't seen a post from them in a really long time. And it's not because they're not posting, but it's because you've not engaged, and Facebook remembers that. And they're like, Hannah hasn't really engaged with this page in a while. And if she's not liking or commenting or sharing, she must not like them that much. So let's not show her any more of their content. And so that's what it means to be a publisher, is they're deciding who sees what. And the best way for us to get around that on a personal level is to make sure that we're engaging with the content that we want to see. And that's just good manners anyway. We want people to like our content and share our content and comment on our content. So we should be doing the same for other people. Another, Lord help me on this one. It used to be so that you could just type like a really short comment and you got like bonus points and bump up the algorithm. However, long comments now have better weight behind them. It bumps it up more. So the short comments are fine, but the long comments are better, because it means someone had more to say. And maybe they're going on a rant. Maybe it's a negative thing. But the fact that they've commented a really long thing means they have had some sort of emotional reaction from whatever was posted. And the longer the comment, the more likely someone is to engage in conversation with that person. So short comments are fine, but we want to make sure that we're going over the one sentence minimum on commenting. Asking questions is always going to be great for the algorithm, because it is asking for comments, right? We start sentences with should or would, which, who. Those are words that are really, really great for engagement. I could say, should Hannah wear a dress tomorrow or come to work dressed like a dinosaur? And people are going to be like, oh, I don't know. Like, both of those seem like really wild decisions for me to make. Neither of those are happening, by the way. But when we ask our audience a question, it gives them permission to comment, right? It gives them permission to share their input. And sometimes we have to open that door for them. Another thing we want to do is minimize links. We've known for a long time that Facebook likes to keep everything native. They like to keep everything on their website because that's where their money is. They make money when you spend time on Facebook. Now, if you click on a link, you're taken somewhere else where they're not making any money, right? So the longer you stay on Facebook, the more money they make. Links take people other places. They don't want that. So when you share a link from your business page, and it could be to your website, it could be to a funny video, it could be to really anything, but Facebook's always going to knock that down a little bit just because they want people to stay native to their website. This is another tricky one. We need to start to avoid words like, comment. Yes, Facebook is a casino. They just stay there. There's no windows. Like, they're like, oh, have as much alcohol as you want. Like, you just stay here forever. Ha 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 ha. Yes, Facebook is the casino of the internet. And we all know that, right? Like, we get caught in the video hole of like, we start watching one video and then we watch like 30 other videos. But yes, we want to avoid these like trigger words like, comment, or share because it seems spammy, right? So it's okay for me in person to be like, hey, I'm going to post some content. Can you make sure to like and comment on it? That's great because Facebook is not really listening. Like, they don't know that I'm doing that. But when I post a video, and in that video, I say, hey, guys, make sure to like and share this content with your friends. And then I'm in the copy and I say the same thing. I say, make sure to like and comment your suggestions for next week and share this video with your friends. Facebook sees that and they're like, okay, this person they're asking for things and that seems spammy. So boop, 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 we're going to knock them back down a little bit. So there are ways around that. You can, I've found that instead of asking people to comment, I say, let me know what you think below. And then I use the little like pointing down emoji. It's one of my favorite emojis because it's not saying comment, but people know what that means, right? Oh, let me know what you think below. Well, below is the comment section. So that's where I'm going to go. So that's how I like to get around some of those things, but you can be as creative as you'd like with that. Some more changes. So the current recommendation is, like I said earlier, when Erica asked, but posting like 1 to 2 times a day with 6 to 8 hours in between. Seems like overkill. And it probably is if you're just starting out with Facebook, or if you have had a Facebook page for a really long time, but you post like once a month. There's a lot of people out there like that, and I get it. If you're one of them, it's okay. Like, there's hope for you yet. But we just want to make sure that we are posting consistently. So if we're posting once a day, that's great. You can kind of pick whatever time is, most likely to get you engagement. You can check that out on your Facebook page. But if you're going to post twice a day, you want to make sure that you spread it out. Because if you post like at 10 a.m. and then again at 11 a.m., those two posts are competing with each other. And when they're competing with each other, you're splitting the engagement, right? Where you may get, 20 likes on one picture, you get 20 likes on the other, but you could have had 40 on one. And 40 is always going to be better than 20, even though it's on 2 posts. So make sure that you spread it out. Definitely do an AM and a PM post if you're going to be posting twice a day. This is something that we've started trying to do, not necessarily with the Square One page, but with our Romance GenreCon page, is utilizing stories. Now, stories are the content that stays on your page for 24 hours, then it goes away. But Facebook stories are a good way to show like behind the scenes stuff, or this like short form video. It doesn't have to be professionally made, doesn't have to be particularly good. It just gives people insight into who you are, and it helps you build up your brand. So if you want to play around with stories, I've done classes on Facebook and Instagram stories, so make sure to check that out on our Facebook page. Live video, again, the ideal length, they say 1 to 15 minutes. This is what they mean is 10 to 15 minutes. So you really want to make sure that you hit that 10-minute mark. The longer the live video, the better. If you have something to say that's less than that, you want to make sure that you're just doing your regular old video and post it natively to Facebook. And, we talked about the reason for that is you want to give people enough time to see the fact that you are live. If you're only live for like a minute, how many people can you possibly get on a live video within 1 minute that are watching live? Not that many, probably. And you want to make sure you get as many people live as possible. So the longer, the better. Interest-driven groups. So this is a huge one right now. And I couldn't have guessed this. I really couldn't have guessed this. But Facebook groups have become like the new way to connect with people. And if you are in Facebook groups online, I would be interested to know that when you get on Facebook and you refresh your feed, like, what are the things that pop up first? I'm in a lot of groups on Facebook. Recently, a lot of like Kansas City mom groups, and I'm constantly seeing people posting in those groups. And sometimes it's a little overkill, but a lot of times it has to do with me and my life, right? Because that group is interest driven, right? I'm a mom. I want to talk to other moms and get insight from other moms and see what other moms are doing. So when a person asks a question like, what's the best gym to take my baby to, I'm like, oh, this pertains to me, and I'm more likely to get involved in that conversation. So that being said, from a business perspective, you want to make sure that your personal page is being an active participant on behalf of your business page, right? So join those groups. If you are a real estate agent, make sure that you're joining, real estate groups and mortgage groups and, women in realty or whatever those groups are, make sure you're joining them and really being an active participant. The worst thing that you can do in a group is be like completely silent 99% of the time until the 1% of the time that you're like selling something or asking for something. But when people ask a question in a group, make sure that you're answering and giving, some honest opinions and give them value as well. So join some groups. If you don't find a group that really fits you can always create your own group and build that up and see where that takes you. Another thing that I really never thought I would be saying, but Facebook is using hashtags now. If that freaks you out, kind of freaks me out too. But hashtags used to be for like Twitter and Instagram. Like that's kind of where they had the most engagement. But Facebook said, you know what? It's time for us to start saying yes to hashtags. And so while you can always use hashtags on Facebook, recently it's been beneficial to use hashtags on Facebook. I had a conversation with someone yesterday who was like, I don't know how to hashtag. I can't think of things to hashtag. And if that's you, let me be the first to say, that's fine. You don't need to know what to hashtag. All you have to know is one word about the industry that you're posting about. And that's it. Because what you can do is, if I take a picture of me in this room by myself and I, hashtag business librarian, right? Or business or virtual learning or whatever it is that I want to hashtag, all I have to do, I'm a librarian, so I Google things 99% of the time. I go to Google and I type in best hashtags for virtual learning. And then Google spits me back 30 different hashtags that I can then copy and paste and use on Facebook and use on Instagram and use on Twitter. So don't let hashtags freak you out. Just Google it. How can I get the most out of using hashtags on Facebook? So you want to make sure that you're using enough hashtags. I know sometimes it's really, really annoying when people use a bunch of hashtags, but 30 is actually the magic number. Instagram doesn't let you use any more than 30, so you want to make sure that you're getting exactly 30 on Instagram. You can use more than that on Facebook, but I would keep it at the 30. And just go to Google. Go to Google, best hashtags for whatever industry you're in or whatever you're posting about, whatever that topic is, and then just copy and paste it. If you get to the point where you know what hashtags are really working for your industry, make a list of them. Make a list and keep it running and have a note on your computer that you can copy and paste, and you can start using those more frequently. So yes, hashtags are huge. Getting the most out of hashtags. You just want to make sure that you're using enough of them and you're utilizing them frequently enough that it makes sense. You don't want to be the person that like utilizes hashtags like once a month. You want to make sure that you're doing it consistently. Consistency is key across the board, whether it's posting or hashtags or videos or anything. You just want to be consistent in everything that you do. All right. I want to show you some good pictures and I'm going to show you some bad pictures, but we already know that when we're on Facebook, it's very visual, right? We're seeing a lot of pictures, we're seeing a lot of video, but we need to ask ourselves, what makes a good photo? And the three things that make the best pictures are a good use of angle, lots of color, and some fun with some contrast. And I'll show you some examples of what that might look like. So we're talking angle here. I won't spend too much time on these pictures because by looking at these, you guys already know which one looks the best to you. But if I asked you whether the picture on the left or the right is better, I would be willing to bet that most of you would agree that the photo on the right just looks better. And we can't really tell why, but it definitely looks like the picture on the left is like sideways or something, like it wasn't, like the angle's wrong, right? So we don't want to post something like that on Facebook because people don't want to see something that makes their brain hurt. This like makes their brain hurt. But if they saw the picture on the right, they are, or they're seeing the good lighting, the good angles, the difference of the perspective difference, and whatever copy you decide to write with that, they're more likely to read it. The more likely they are to read and stop and see this image, the more likely they are to click, like, comment, and share that image. I honestly like both of these pictures pretty well enough, but of course, I like my guy on the right with the hot dog in his mouth. I think it's a fun little advertising trick. The thing here really is lighting. We can see that the lighting on the face is a lot better than the lighting on the left where we've just got the aluminum foil. Aluminum foil gets tricky actually because it reflects light. And so the light that would be hitting this hot dog is actually hitting that aluminum foil and then bouncing off other locations. So where the shine should be on the hot dog, we're not really getting as much of that. And that's a little food photography for you. So make sure that you play around with the lighting a little bit, especially if you are doing product photography. You want that product to really stand out. Oops, should have warned you. This is gross. But of course, we're talking angle, we're talking color, we're talking contrast, we're talking all of it. No, that's not human intestines. That's just sausage, uncooked sausage. That's what that is. But of course, we can see that the photo on the right is a beautiful picture of a light, fresh, fun taco plate. And it makes me hungry, it makes me want to get home and have some, tacos on a Wednesday evening. But no, that picture on the left is really just really bad. We wouldn't want to see it. We certainly wouldn't want to go to eat at this restaurant after seeing the picture. So this is bad stuff. Won't spend too much more time on that because I don't want you to have to look at it any longer. But we know that when we post something, we want to post good pictures because good pictures get better engagement. And that's just the bottom line. So then we move ourselves on to video. Video, guys, is key right now. If you're not shooting video because you're scared or because you think you don't have enough time or, you're just anxious about it, I'm telling you right now that if you want your business to succeed, if you want to open a pipeline, if you're looking for leads into your business, if you are not getting the engagement that you think you should get, you need to be shooting video. I would love to have a one-on-one with you about it. I've been shooting video for a really long time, both behind the camera and in front of the camera, and I want you to get comfortable doing it because video it's not the future, it's the now, and it's going to continue to grow and develop. And if you're not jumping on the bandwagon now, then you're not going to be able to catch up in a couple years when it changes again. So when we're thinking video, lighting, audio, and orientation, those are our three things that we really want to take into consideration. Lighting. So lighting, we want to make sure that when we're shooting video, let's see if I turn my camera here a little bit, we want to make sure that we keep the light behind the camera. Right now, there's a giant window in front of me that's hitting the light on my face, and hopefully my lighting is decent enough right now. But if I turn and I put myself now in front of a window, all of a sudden I get a little darker, right? Like I become a shadow or a silhouette in front of this giant window. We don't want that. We want to make sure that the lighting is really good. So when you are taking video, you want to make sure that the light is always behind the camera. So if you're doing a selfie video, right, you're holding your phone up, you've got the light source behind the camera, so it's hitting your face. Pretty easy. You know what's good lighting and what's bad lighting. So just be aware of that. Another thing with lighting, we want to make sure the light is behind the camera, but we don't necessarily need like the only light source right directly in the line of where your camera is, because what happens is you get a phone shadow on your face. So don't do that. Just go off to the side a little bit and you're going to be fine with that. Audio. I will talk about a little more about audio here in a little bit, but as far as audio goes, we want to make sure that your audio, it can be controlled as best as you can. So if you're shooting like outside or in a louder environment, it may be worth it to get like a little lavalier mic or something that you can make sure that you're speaking directly into. They're really cheap. You can get them on Amazon for like $10. Another thing about audio, like right now, currently, I'm in a room that the doors are locked and I know that nobody's going to come in. However, one of my classes, maybe like a month ago, the library was closing early because of the pandemic, and something that I couldn't control, but I probably should have been able to, was the audio of the intercom coming on and letting people know that the library was closing. Now, these are things that we think about now, right? We want to make sure that there's always good audio in the video, because people will forgive you for bad video, but they're never going to forgive you for bad audio. We don't like the sound of it. If we don't like the sound of it, we're not going to watch it. So we're going to keep on scrolling. Another thing that I want to talk about is orientation. So orientation means how you hold your phone when you shoot your video. Now, the way you're watching this right now is, we see the screen is horizontal. So we want to make sure that if we're shooting video specifically for Facebook, live video, in fact, we want to make sure that we're shooting a landscape orientation. This is not natural for us. We like to shoot video this way because it's just how we operate our phones, but we need to make sure that we're flipping that phone over and filling up that entire screen. This is going to give you the best engagement when you're posting to Facebook. Now, if you're shooting a Facebook story, do the opposite. Do the vertical orientation. This is what you want to do for Facebook stories if you're doing that 24-hour short form video this way. If you're doing live video or just regular video that you're posting to Facebook, boom, turn it into landscape orientation. Okay, so why shoot video? Two really big reasons, maybe three really big reasons. One being that Facebook wants you to, and we like to play by Facebook's rules. But the other two are that video provides a sense of trust. There's something about being on video that you're like a little vulnerable. I've like stumbled over my words a few times now, but maybe that makes you trust me a little more, because you know that I'm a real human. I mess up. I'm not like super put together, and that's okay. We want to make sure that we are being fully us online, and it does provide this like trusting factor through video. And especially if you are a professional doing a video and you're giving your customer information that they didn't already have, if you're giving them some sort of value, if you're informing them of what's happening in the marketplace or whatever, they're gonna trust you. They're gonna trust you because you're a professional and because they follow your page and you're giving them information they didn't already have. So give them that, and it helps you just build a better customer service relationship with your customer. The second one is it helps you be transparent. You can't really hide behind video. In fact, video kind of like opens a lens into your business like nothing else. You can edit, you can edit pictures, you can hide behind copy, you can lie, you can cheat, you can whatever. But when it comes to video, what you see is what you get, right? Like I can't make my face skinnier, or I can't make my voice sound not so squeaky or whatever. That's just me, and I'm being completely transparent with you guys, and that transparency builds upon the trust. When I'm being real with you through video, it helps you like understand who Square One is as a library resource, right? You're like, oh, these people, they're real, they're down to earth, they're approachable. and I would trust them to help me with my business, right? So that's our goal, is to be transparent in our videos so that you trust us to help you with your business. Same thing with your business. When you start doing more videos, that trust and transparency is going to bump with your customers, and you're going to see that they're more likely to have a conversation with you because you've made yourself available to them. Video is super important. I promised I'd talk about audio. So there is a solution for an audio problem. And the audio problem is that like 80 to 90% of Facebook videos are watched with the sound off. And I can't blame people, right? Like, people are usually on their phones, maybe when they're not supposed to be, or they're in public and they don't want people knowing that they're watching like a Katy Perry music video or whatever. But that's an issue for business owners, right? They're like, okay, well, I went to all the trouble of making this video and people aren't even watching it. So there are some solutions for this. The first solution, and probably the easiest one, is to just ask people to watch it with the sound on. And you do that by shooting your video. When you're uploading it, make sure you've got the copy of you type your copy into the description of the video and just say, watch with the sound on. Just tell them what to do. It's easy. And most likely people are going to see that. They're going to be like, oh, they've got something to say, and they click on it. Boom. They're hearing it. Another option you've got, a little more difficult, maybe a little more time intensive, are subtitles. Now, you could go and you could buy software that transcribes everything for you. You can do it manually through editing software. Don't suggest it. It takes a really long time. However, Facebook actually gives you the option to let them generate subtitles for you now. So all you have to do is, when you're uploading your video, you give it a title, you give it a description, and over on the right-hand side, there's lots of different options, and subtitles is going to be one of them. All you have to do is click subtitles, click the language that your video is in, and then it's going to spit out subtitles for you. Now, it gives you the option to edit these subtitles, and the reason they give you the option to edit is because they don't always get every word exactly right. So that's where the time intensity kind of comes in there, is because you may have to go in and edit some of those subtitles, especially if it's a longer video. Another, solution for some people, it would be to upload a video that the sound isn't important at all. So a good example, this library is relatively new. So if I were to take my phone and go out to the edge of the parking lot, and the sun is kind of setting behind the building a little bit, and if I just shot a video where I was panning across the library as the sun was setting, that's something that wouldn't need any sound, but it's getting all of the attention of a video because it is a video. But people are more likely to stop because it's beautiful, but they don't necessarily have to click on it. They're not missing anything because I'm not talking, there's no music, there's no whatever. It's just the beautiful landscape, and that's okay because I can say everything I need to say in the copy of the post. Another thing, we have to make sure that it's attention grabbing, and this is harder. It's easier said than done. We need to make sure that if we're not going to ask people to do it with sound on, if we're not going to add subtitles, if we're not shooting video with no sound, then we've got to make the video so amazing and attention grabbing in the first 3 seconds of the video that people are so compelled to click on it and watch the rest of the video with the sound on. That's harder to do because people are scrolling really quickly. And if they see you and you're not doing something interesting or saying something funny or making a funny face or whatever, they're going to keep scrolling, right? So you've got 3 seconds, really less than that, to grab their attention right off the bat. So what you don't want to do is spend too much time focused on a logo or a piece of paper or something that's really boring to look at. You want to make sure that your face is in the frame in the first 3 seconds. So sound on, subtitles, no sound, or super attention grabbing. Another thing when it comes to video, but also really anything that you post to Facebook, is you want to make sure that you don't forget your call to action, whatever that CTA is, right? And your call to action can be learn more, buy now, get your tickets, whatever, share, check us out, subscribe, whatever that thing is that you want them to do next. So when you're shooting that video and you're saying, you know what, here are your 10 social media tips for the week, and number 1, number 2, number 3, and then you get to number 10 and you're like, I hope you guys like this video. If you would do me a favor and make sure to comment what your biggest stressor is on social media, then I will make sure to answer that for you. You're giving them a call to action. You're saying, hey, before you leave me a comment and I will get back to you. And you can always, there's always got to be a call to action. You can't just like have a video and say, okay, well, bye. You'll notice at the end of this video, when it's done, I'm probably going to ask you to do multiple things. I'm going to ask you to comment. I'm going to ask you to tune in to my next class. And I'm probably going to ask you to fill out a survey. The survey is really important for us. So those are our call to actions that we use in our videos. But, play around with different call to actions and see what kind of engagement you get with different ones moving forward. This is another fun thing when it comes to video, but we need to always try to be human. Seems like a pretty easy concept. We're all humans, but it is super, super easy to kind of like lose our personality when we're talking to a camera or when we're talking to a phone. Sometimes we like are a little awkward, or we say, hello, my name's Hannah, and today I'm going to talk about Facebook and how to up your Facebook game for your business. Like you're reading a script or something and it's not fun and nobody wants to watch it. People would much rather watch me be my crazy self and like stumble over my words and get distracted by all the crazy people in the parking lot, right? But that's because I'm a real person and people like watching real people. So a couple things that we can do to remain human are smile. I typically don't like people. I don't like telling people to have to smile, but it does make a difference on social video. When people see a smiling face, they know that you're friendly. They know that you're approachable, and they're more likely to click on your video. Opposed to if I was just like sitting here with a straight face, like, the next slide is going to talk about the Facebook algorithm. And you're like, man, is she miserable or what? She must really hate her job. No, if you're smiling, it shows people that you're passionate about what you're doing. So always make sure that you have a good attitude going into the video. Another big thing is making eye contact. So this is something that I've been working on, but I know the eye of the camera is right there on my computer. And if I'm looking into the eye of the camera, it means that I'm looking at you, right? I want to make sure that I'm making eye contact with you, my customer, not looking at my screen or looking over at my other computer. If I had the entire conversation where I was just looking off to the other screen and I could pretend like I wasn't talking to you guys, I was just talking to this other PowerPoint, then you guys might not watch anymore because it looks like I'm not having a conversation with you. I want to make it friendly. I want to have this conversation with you, right? Even if there's nobody else in the room, I want to make it feel like I'm available to you. And the best way I can do that is through eye contact. So always find the eye of your phone or your screen. It gets really tricky on your phone because our eyes naturally going to go to ourself. When we see ourself on a video, we're going to like watch us and be like, oh, my hair, oh, my skin, oh, my face, whatever. But if we could just not look at us and look at the eye of the camera, all of a sudden we're making eye contact and our customer are more likely to watch. Another big thing that we can do when we're getting ready to shoot video, especially if you're nervous, is take a deep breath. Just know that video is going to get you further in your business. And if you are the type of person that wants to grow your business, this is something that you have to do. And we can do hard things. We can do scary things. We can take a step outside of our comfort zone for just a little bit. I mean, your video doesn't have to be long. It can be a 20-second video. It can just be you introducing yourself. And it could be as simple as, hey guys, I'm Hannah. I honestly really hate doing video. And some crazy person at the library told me that I needed to start shooting more video. So this is me trying to build my business, and I'm going to start shooting videos more often. So if you could do me a favor and let me know what kinds of things you would like me to talk about on this page, I would be super grateful. And I hope to see you guys in the future. I'll see you in my next video. Like that's easy, right? And if you're scared to do it, deep breath, let it out, and know that everything is going to be fine. Because guess what? Worst case scenario, just delete it and try it again. There's always room for improvement. No one's ever going to make a perfect video. You're never going to be perfect on video, and that's okay. Doing video is the perfection, right? Like doing something that you're uncomfortable with, doing something that scares you a little bit just because you will get better from it is something to be admired, right? So do me a favor and start shooting video for your page. Tag Square One in it because I want to know that you guys have taken a step outside your comfort zone, because I believe in you. We all believe in you at the library. If I can do it, you guys can do it. I've been sitting here talking for an hour now. I hate talking to myself, but I do it because I know that some people get something out of it. And if I can give the customer something, if I can help them in some way, then it's worth it, right? Same thing for you. If you can provide your customer with something that they're going to get a little gold nugget of information, or they're going to trust you a little more, you're going to be completely transparent with them, it's worth you being uncomfortable for 30 seconds, right? So smile, eye contact, deep breath. Want to talk about insights really quick. Insights are your analytics, right? That's how you can look at your stats on Facebook. The insights are slowly like going away on Facebook. They're not going away forever. They're just in a different location. So instead of on your Facebook page, there used to be a button that says insights. Some of you probably still have that button. That's great. But you need to make sure that you are utilizing Business Manager. And you can do that at business.facebook.com. Just make sure that you claim your page, and you can do everything from there. You can post from there. You can schedule content from there. You can run ads from there. And you can look at those analytics as well. So it's a free resource from Facebook. They just want to make sure that there's a hub for all that information for your business. This is another thing that I've touched on in the past. You would think that it's common knowledge maybe, but this has happened twice to me now. I've had people ask about how to transfer like ownership or admin stuff on their page. A lot of people will hire out for their social media. That's fine. If you've got the money and the resources to do that, by all means, hire it out and you can focus on your business. However, you don't want to give ownership of your page. And you do that within business.facebook.com. You can make someone an owner, but there's only one owner of the page. There could be lots of admins, there could be lots of editors, there could be, lots of people that have access to the page, but there's only one owner. And if you're hiring a social media manager and you make them the owner, that means you're not the owner and you need to own your business. And here's why. Twice now, I've had conversations with the owner of the business who gave away ownership of their page to a social media manager, and twice now has that social media manager died. Dead people, one, can't run your Facebook page. Two, can't give you access to your Facebook page. And getting in contact with Facebook is not an easy thing. It's a long process that you have to submit paperwork. You have to submit the fact that you own your business. It's a long process. It's not as easy as just chatting with somebody on a support website and them fixing it for you. It takes a really long time to fix. So please, please, please do not give the ownership of your page to anybody. Make them an admin, make them an editor, but do not make them the owner. Okay, I get this a lot. I know I need to do all this stuff, but I'm not creative. I don't know what to post. So here's a list of some ideas for you. Idea number one, jump on Canva. I've got lots of classes on Canva. If you know me, you know that I'm a Canva addict. But there's lots of really fun templates on Canva. Be your own graphic designer, and you can design stuff for your social media accounts through Canva. And you can do that with your own brand colors, your own logos, your stock images, whatever. You get to create as much as you want. So utilize Canva. Again, I've got lots of classes on that you can see in our video library on the Square One Facebook page. Also, just check out what's trending. You can do that by just scrolling on Facebook and seeing what other people are talking about. And just play to your strengths, right? If something's trending that you know something about, let's go. Let's talk about it. The price of lumber is really high right now. So if you are a construction worker, if you work at a lumber yard, or if you have some vested interest in the lumber industry, talk about it. Let people know what's going on, and explain to them what's happening and what it means when the bubble burst, and explain that, because us common folk don't know what most of that means, and we don't know why this is happening. So if you've got insight into something that's trending, let your customers know. Pinterest. Now, most people don't utilize Pinterest as a business outlet for them, but if you have a Pinterest account and you don't really utilize it for or for business, that's fine. If you have a Facebook page that you're like, I don't know what to post on here, this is what you need to do. Go to Pinterest, type in the search bar, social media ideas, hit enter, and look at all of the content that pops up. They're going to give you 365 ideas for posting on social media. There's a million blogs out there that's going to give you lots of different ideas. So definitely check out Pinterest for some awesome ideas there. Another great place to figure out what kind of content to post is your competitions page. Now, you don't want to copy them word for word. Certainly wouldn't want to do that. But another thing you can do is just kind of go on there and see, when they're posting, what kind of content they're posting, what content gets likes and comments and shares, what content is not doing well. You're never going to learn as much as you will from your own failures, but you can learn a lot from your competitors' failures as well. So make sure that you're checking out your competitions page and see what they're doing, see what works and see what doesn't. And the best thing you can do on social media is to just share your story, share your passions. Why did you get into the business that you're in? How did you get started? When was the first time you realized that this is what you wanted to do? Why is entrepreneurship something for you? If you could be anything in the world, what would it be? If you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go? Share those things, because people follow your page for a reason, because they like you. They like you and they like your business. So they want to know more about the process. So share your story and your expertise with them. And if that's all you do, you're good. You're solid, because people will engage with someone who is open and honest with them. And the best way to be open and honest is to just share what you know. Okay. This is another question I get all the time is okay, I don't have enough time to do this. And I'm like, okay, I get it. I don't have enough time to do it either. That's why we have a team that does lots of all of our social medias all over the place. But when you need efficiency in your business, we want to make sure that you're not spending 90% of your time dealing with social media, because you want to be spending 90% of your time doing what you're passionate about, which is your business, right? Whether it's making something or cooking something, creating something or selling something, whatever, you need to be out doing that, not doing Facebook or social media. So utilize a social media calendar. Sometimes people just like to write it down. I'm going to look like a crazy person, but I keep checklists of did I post this when I was supposed to? Did I post this when I was supposed to? And the list just continues to go on and on. I've got lots of different lists that I write on physical paper, like an old person, but here we are. But there are lots of social media calendars that you can utilize online as well. Lots of free stuff. Facebook has lots of different calendars. If you go into that business.facebook.com and utilize Business Manager, you can schedule things from there, which brings me to scheduling apps. If you need help finding a scheduling app, shoot me an email, reach out to me, let me know, and I can direct you to different places. But most likely you're going to want to use the free ones, which are already in Facebook, they're already in Instagram, they're already in Twitter. So you can schedule things just utilizing the platform itself. Another thing you want to do to remain efficient is to take a bunch of pictures and videos, especially video, right? So if we're talking video and you're in the mood, you're okay, I want to shoot a video. And then you shoot one, you're man, that was awesome. I feel so good. If you feel good and you feel confident, shoot another video, shoot a third video, shoot as many videos as you possibly can in one sitting. That way you've got weeks worth of content, right? You could post for a really long time and not have to worry about shooting anything else. So stockpile those photos and videos when you can. You never know when something's going to come in handy later. Again, pay attention to what's trending. You just want to, stay on top of things. Probably one of the best examples of stay on top of what's trending is sports. Whatever's happening locally with the local sports team, whether that be football or baseball or softball or basketball or whatever, just pay attention, right, to what's going on, because worst case scenario, you could say, go Chiefs. And you're probably going to get likes and, comments and shares from that. Another thing you want to do just to remain efficient is to set goals. If you don't have any goals for your social media account, you're never going to know if you're hitting the mark, right? So set goals. Say, this month I want to get 10 new followers, or this month I want to have our engagement go up by 20%, or this month I want to make sure that I shoot 4 videos. Whatever those goals are, just set them, write them down, share them with a friend, share them with us, like private message us and let us know what your goals are so we can help keep you accountable. But setting those goals will help you be more efficient. And if you're a list person, make your list, start crossing things off. I know it gives me like a little boost of like dopamine or something whenever I get to cross something off a list. So set your goals, and that will help you be more efficient on social media. And then, I mentioned this with the video, but take advantage of the productivity and the creativity. If the creativity comes, you don't want to lose it. So just keep it going, keep writing it down, keep shooting video, keep doing whatever you're doing. And then when it fizzles, you know that you spent the last, 20 minutes of like thinking about content, or you spent the last hour thinking about your Facebook page or whatever, but take advantage of it. It's really, really easy for us to be like, oh, I've got a good idea, I'm going to write it down, and then I'm going to do it later on today. What happens? It gets later on today and you're like, I am not doing that. So take advantage of the time when you have it. That went by pretty quickly. I think I talked like a mile a minute. But if you guys have any questions, please, let me know those in the comments. I want to make sure that a survey gets out to you guys. I believe we've got that posted somewhere. But do me a favor, shoot me any questions you've got. Shoot some videos for your social media pages. Tag us in it. We want to see your videos. We want to see what you guys are creating. Make sure that you're following the Square One page, and we'll make sure that we're following your pages as well. And if you guys have any questions specifically for me, go ahead and reach out. You've got my email right there, and of course our Square One website. You can reach any of us. I'd love to sit down and chat with you. We're kind of in person again, you guys. Of course, if you want to have a one-on-one through Zoom or through Microsoft Teams, we can do that. But if you want to meet at the coffee shop, or if you want to come to the library, we can see people in person again. So I'm excited to be back out in the community. I, of course, will continue to teach these virtual classes, and I appreciate you guys spending a Wednesday evening with me. Let me know how I did in that survey. Let us know what kind of content you're looking for, what kind of classes you would like to learn more about. If you're like, Hannah, I need to know more about TikTok, then let me know. Lord help me, it's coming, you guys. I promise the TikTok class is coming, but it is not ready yet. But if you need to know more about TikTok, fill out the survey and let me know. Whatever it is that you are looking for in your business, just make sure that you put it in the survey, and somebody will reach out to you, and we will get you connected with the right resources. So again, I thank you guys for hanging in there with me tonight. Hope you learned something. Fill out that survey, let me know some questions, and I will see you all at the next event. Bye.